Okay, folks, you're gonna want to stay here and stay tuned because I'm gonna show you guys how to make this right here. This needs no introduction, but this is a Cajun Shrimp and Grits, right? Listen, all of this yumminess, goodness, and long form, and check this out. You can't say Cajun or Creole without this right here, Creole kick. Let's get it. Okay, so look, as I normally do, listen, we're gonna go over some of these ingredients, right? Obviously, I got that thick cut bacon, right? You see that right there? When I say thick cut, that's what I mean. I know some of y'all gonna go over the top, try to cut yours differently. But as you can look, we got cheese, we got, some of my seasoning, we got some liquids and all of this right here. Oh, and don't forget we got veggies. And this right here gonna be the star too. And when you say shrimp and grits, you gotta have those, right? So don't forget the full ingredient list is on my website, Smokin and Grillin with AB.com, and that's WITAB.com. And now we're gonna go ahead and sort of like mince this. Not really like a mince, just dice it up. Okay, so look, first thing we're gonna do is, because we gotta cook these grits for a minute, right? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you guys something. If you guys haven't, I kind of like told everybody this before, anytime you're using water, I like to use, you guys guessed it, I like to use this, what you see right here. Chicken stock, chicken broth, right? Because this is where the flavor is, right? So if we're gonna use 1 cup of grits, we're gonna have to have 4 cups of some type of liquid. Please quit reading that box on the back that says go ahead and use water. This right here is where you're gonna get your flavor. And if I really wanted to level it up, now I'm gonna give you guys a little pro tip. If you was coming to my house, how I would show out, I'd go ahead and put like a teaspoon or so of bouillon, like a chicken bouillon on top of this just to get it, so it'll just bite and hit right. I'll put everything on high, as you just saw. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just add my milk, all right? Then I'm gonna just get in here and just mix this up, and I'm gonna watch it, because once I start seeing bubbles like it's getting ready to, boil, then we're gonna add in our grits, and we're gonna cook them for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now we're getting ready to come, and bring our grits in there. This is where we introduce that to it, right? And then for me, I don't like lumps. I know you guys don't either. I know that's funny hearing it like that. Nobody likes lumps when I say it like that. But what we want to do is we just want to cook that in. We want to keep it, stirring, make sure that it doesn't, lump up. Just keep moving like that, and then we're going to let this cook. All right, so you guys have seen me dice. I want you guys to pay attention to the size of it. Again, I try to say this in all of my videos. It depends, right? So if we're doing the size, if it's going to be large, that's more so for the texture. But then when we dice them down small, that's for the flavor. Now, because I like to cook everything on a Creole / Cajun, type of theme, I always add bell peppers to it. Then we want a splash of color. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. Red. I'm not gonna bore you guys. You know what I'm doing. Don't forget, save these, and then we move on. Now you guys see how I just lined it up right there? I didn't want to bore you when it came time to like dicing onions, this is it. You see how I do it. Now, I'm gonna just talk to everybody. If I'm not getting through to everybody, I always say we wanna grate our own cheese, right? Now we're gonna put some of this cheese in these hot grits, right? And then we're gonna season them up a little bit. And how we gonna season them? Now we saying they shrimp and grits, so any Creole or Cajun seasoning that you guys like, and if you've been following me for a minute, you know what I do. I use that. Ooh-wee, look at this right here. That's that Creole kick, folks. All right, so look, we got that heat. But check this out. Now that we freshly grated some of that cheese, we're gonna let that heat to go ahead and let it melt, right? Now, it's up to you how cheesy you would like it for it to be. As you using your whisk and you working this in, you guys tell me. But I'm gonna give you a general ballpark. We wanna put in about 1.5 cups, all right? Look at that. Okay, so look at that. Once that cheese melts, do you see the color? And then look, it's starting to thicken up. This is fine. Right? We still got a little heat in there, so now we're gonna go ahead and add our butter. Right? And then we're just gonna let this sit up just for a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and work with, our shrimp. Okay, folks, so all that prep work, it all comes down to this, all right? So remember, we made bacon in here. I left that in here. We got a little bit of that bacon grease, and that's what we want, right? So I went ahead and just heated it up. Now check this out. We're gonna go ahead and add some veggies inside of here. If anything has stuck, right? The acid in these, veggies picks up everything. Now, you guys know I cook with hex-clad pots and pans. Nothing is supposed to stick to these anyway. Easy, clean up, yada, yada, yada. But I'm gonna put this in here just like this, and we're gonna start letting this get a head start. Okay, now once you start working this with your spatula, you remember it had black on the bottom of there? You know what I mean? That was from like some of the char that was on the bacon. Look at how I move this around. You notice you don't see nothing, look. That's what the veggies do, folks. Just giving you guys some pro tips. It's really for like my new people, my seasoned people that's been, cooking. These are like, it's just like a refresher. You already know this though. All right, so listen, I don't want these to go, I don't want these to render down all the way. So I usually just go with a medium-high flame. I let these go for about 3 to 4 minutes, right? Now I'm getting ready to add my andouille, right? We just wanted to, heat up and release. And I said andouille, this is my smoked sausage. I'm just so used to cooking with it. You know what I mean? It's hard for me not to, for me to use anything. Me not having it is almost like a sin, but I did order me another case and I'll have some for my next video. And plus we getting ready to run into the fall anyway. Y'all know I gotta have it, right? But this would be just as good. What we wanna do is just get this maximum coverage on the bottom, right? And we let that go ahead and heat up and release its flavor so we get it all going. Next, we're getting ready to bring in our shrimp. All right, so shrimp. This could have been done earlier, but we're gonna add this on top of here and then we're gonna get in here with our hand, right? This is my Creole kick. Now I'm getting ready to just work this back and forth. And you can actually look at the flesh of the shrimp and see if everything has been coated, right? Now once you reach here, right, you can see it. I can see that I can see that the smoked sausage is starting to cook down. I can see that it's releasing its flavor. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our shrimp, right? And what we wanna do is we want all this to marry together, right? So remember, I'm on a medium flame. This is what you want. I try to get my shrimp to be as flat as possible, make sure none of them are on top. And then we always know how the shrimp is cooking, right? What's the telltale sign, folks? Let me know down in the comment section below. You see that right there? Look how they're starting to curl up. It'd be hard for you guys to see how translucent they are because of that seasoning, right? But no worries. Remember, medium heat. All right, so we do this. Now I'm getting ready to add my garlic. So I got my press. We open that up. We put this right here in the inside like this. And then I want you guys to pay attention to where I have it. Once I mince it, I put it on top like this because I don't want it to hit the heat because I want to constantly stir it, right? So in order to keep from burning it, I put it on like that, clean this up, drop this in, we do another one. All right, so once we have it on top and I got everything that's minced, and I go ahead and give it, some work, some action from the spatula, right? Actually, I'm finna turn this off because there's enough heat in here right now to get it going. But look at my shrimp, folks. You do not want to overcook it. We don't want no rubbery or hard shrimp. But you see that right there? And just imagine me putting that on top of your grits. Now, I want you guys to talk to me down in that comment section below. We finna get serious now. Tell me what you do. Do you do sweet or savory? I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys how I like mine, and I like mine sweet and savory. Gotta have that salt and pepper in there too, but I like it to be on the sweet side. Y'all let me know what you think about that, and let's just open up that that conversation. All right, so then what we do is we take this out. Don't worry if you leave a little bit of veggies in here. Really, I probably should have just left some, extra, some aside. Save some aside, folks. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna leave some of this cooked in here because we're gonna use this to make that gravy. Okay, so you see what I left in here, right? Got a little bit of smoked sausage in here. We got some of that rendered down goodness, the veggie wise. Now check this out. Now we're gonna add our heavy cream, right? Look at that. Look at the color. This is what y'all been waiting on because everybody know how to make shrimp and grits, but it's all about that shrimp and grit gravy that we put on, right? So I'm gonna let this go like this. Now we're gonna let this come back up to a boil, right? So I'm gonna check my fire underneath, make sure I'm at a medium flame. Let's go, folks. All right, folks, now look, the heavy cream is working with our veggies. You can see a little bit of the smoked sausage. You see that right there? Now, of course, it's gonna be doing that right there because it's on, that's where the burner's at, right? You can actually see the pattern of the burner. Now we just wanna add ourselves to this about a half a cup of broth. Then all we're gonna do is cook this down and get it as thick as we would like it to be, right? I said a half a cup, I'll leave it just like that. That wasn't quite a half, but we'll just work with this. If I need to thicken it up more, thin it out, then we add just a little bit more. Okay, so check me out. Look at these grits. You guys make them as thick as you want them to or as thin as you want to, but I will tell you this, if you make them too thin, when you put your shrimp on the top, what that does is they won't have nothing to like stay on top of, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. And look at the color, especially up against this white, bowl, right? Look at that right there. Oh my goodness. Look at that. We just gonna leave it just like that, folks. We're gonna let that settle. Now, if you guys come back over here and look, I think this is about as thick as I want to be by itself, right? So look, once we got our gravy, it's our sauce, right? Now I did add a little salt and pepper. I didn't film that part, and I tasted it, right? It's right. Now we just finna add this and all of its flavor inside of there. You see where I'm going with it, folks? Now you guys want to know, like, when it come time to making shrimp and grits, you be like, man, it's a little bit expensive just with some grits and shrimp. But now once you understand this process, look at here. You can tell in my voice though, this right. Now I know some of you guys have been looking at this on my cutting board, right, and trying to figure out like when he's gonna introduce them flakes. Now this right here, completely optional. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna sprinkle a couple of, just a little, I'm gonna put my grown-up pants on. Boom, right? Now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna work this in and let it, marinate and release his heat inside of here. Now you guys can put as much in as you like. You can omit this whole step, but I do want it to have like just a little bit of a little bite to it. All right, now we're gonna take some of this. Woo, we don't want to drip on there. I had to mess up my plate, but don't trip, I'm gonna fix it, right? And we just put a little bit of this on there. I like a lot of shrimp. You can pile it on top like that. I wanna make sure I get some of these veggies. You see that? When I eat something that's this good, the ending gonna be real short. I'm just gonna ask you guys this. Did you learn something when I made them grits? Then talk to me. Do you like them sweet or savory? Now, with that being said, listen, if you're new to my channel, let me take this time to say thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and you know what to do. Tell everybody out there. There's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. And I ain't gonna lie to you folks, this right here, this is truly fire. I'm out. Peace.